So you saw the beginning of what turned out to be a little bit of a wobble, but I think things are back on track now, and it does look like this could really be our season. Let's try and take that on it today. Got a couple of games to try and get our lead so strong that I think it would be very hard to see us really losing it. 2 more wins today, and I think we're looking at a probable promotion. Let's see what we can do. So here we are after a pretty uneventful transfer window with a couple of exceptions I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. And as you can see, we are top of the league. And in fact, it's a Sicilian one too, because Palermo are second. So the chances at the moment of having Palermo promoted with me seem to be a little bit higher. Obviously, only one team gets promoted automatically. They would have to win the playoffs. But looks like they're in a kind of form that might mean that they could be in a serious position to do that. I am, of course, assuming that I get promoted, which is by no means a certainty. But the form we're in at the moment is pretty good. As you can see, we're winning games pretty much left, right and centre. And we've got 2 games today against Monopoli and Fidelis Andria, who are around us, as in they're 5th and 6th, so they're not a million miles off from us. And we will be looking, hopefully, to take those 2 further wins. We have had a little bit of late transfer window action, one of which is that Gianmarco Nesta, who is out of contract at the end of the season, has agreed to join Catanzaro. And I did try and sell him. I have since tried to sell him now quite a few times and haven't been successful. So he will be with us till the end of the season, and that will be it, which is a shame because he has been a very good servant for us. Yes, he had a bit of an off season last year, been better this year. I think the pressure of having Roller coming up behind him was significant. And although Roller has been a little disappointing, the improvement in Nesta has been really good in that respect. So hopefully we can now see that improvement. However, towards the end of the transfer window, as in on the last day of it, we did get 2 loanees in. We've got Drissa Gui Camara to come in and be our backup probably in the deeper line role, I think. Just trying to think if he could play in the other role as well. Probably more likely to be a deep line playmaker, actually, which I could play him as. So I might try and give that a go, I think, today for his debut and use him as a DLP. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with today for Gui Camara. And the other loan signing we've got in is a potentially very good striker called Tommaso Mancini. Now, you could argue that we don't really need this kind of player at the moment, but I think that we just need that little bit more strength and depth, so that, for example, when Estrella is injured, we don't always have to rely on Castelli, who's not in great form. We've got Mancini as well. Basically, we've now got 4 proper strikers. We had been playing lateral there a bit. He's not really a striker. He's much more of a winger. The same goes for Francesco Rolla. So I think that made some sense to bring in an extra lone player. And this is the team we're going to go with today, I think. So hopefully we can keep up our pretty good run against Monopoly, trying to expand that lead at the top of the table, which is getting pretty strong. Right, and we're underway against Monopoly. Kamara to Pellegrini. Mancini shoots and it goes wide. Rolla takes the ball out the outside. He's trying again now. Crosses in, and that was a very strong cross. Need some more of that from Francesco here. Had a lot of assists recently. I would like to see him doing a little bit more in that respect. Mancini crosses over to Rolla, and Rolla finds a shot, and Somariva makes the save, and we get a corner. It's looking dangerous, Rolla, today. A bit hit and miss at the moment, but when he's dangerous, he's very dangerous. It's good to see him really starting to become a bit of a threat, even if it's not as consistent as I would like. Sekulov is through, and I think that's a penalty. It is indeed. Benchimano, and it's a great save from Blev. And we managed to keep it at 0-0, which is fortunate. We are under a bit of pressure now. Sartzi coming in, and Blev makes another save. We need to try and get a little bit more control of this game. Because at the moment we are slightly on the back foot. Fidelis Andria, who we're playing next, are ahead. We can beat both of these teams this year. It really does start to look very good for us, I think. 2 of the stronger teams in the league. Into the second half now. What can we find in the second half to try and take us to another 3 points? And step closer to the title that we so badly need to get ourselves up and out of this division, competing with some of the bigger boys. Vittorini comes through. Pellegrini crosses over to Latilat. Finds Roller again. Roller's back. Can get another cross in. He can, and Pellegrini can't quite get the ball into the back of the net. But again, Roller looking dangerous. Might take Mancini off, I think. Oh, Latilat has put the ball in from a Gioldi cross, and that is excellent. Really simple goal, but it will do. I'm still going to take Mancini off because he wasn't entirely fit. I wanted to give him his debut, but he's certainly not entirely fit. The question is Castelli or Estrella? I'm going to go for Estrella this time. I think I've sometimes gone for Castelli, but today I fancy a bit of Estrella. Estrella. I keep saying my Italian is almost non-existent, other than the fact that I speak Spanish and Latin, which have similarities. I'm going to take Castelli on as well for Pellegrini. Double change up front. And Kamara can make way as well for Mirko Adamo. Cross comes in, but it's cleared away by Monopoly. Atilat can make way now for Biondi. I have one more substitution to make, which I think will be Celli. Hopefully, barring any last-minute calamities here, we might be over the line for another 3 points here. Maybe one last chance here for Monopoly, but they run it out of play. And I think we are indeed, to a first win of the video. So it's a good start. And we are starting to look like that league table could be starting to become dominated by us, purely because we're on the good form, not because we've got a massive lead. But I feel like now we're ahead, it's going to be very hard to catch us because we're playing very, very nicely. So let's just quickly see what's been said about that. Kamara made his debut. How did he play, actually? Didn't notice. 6.5, so not the best debut. Bleve, though, made 5 saves. That's excellent. So hopefully that can continue. Good to see that my improvement in goals seems to have paid off. I have got Giacomo Volpe as well, but I think Bleve is probably the right decision in the end. So I'm going to be back for the Fidelis Andria game in 7 days, barring something interesting happening between now and then. That's when you'll see me next. I did say I would break off at some point during this video and talk about the youth intake, because we had that a little bit earlier last month, and oh my God. Wow. Just look at that. Top prospect in the centre midfield. 2 forwards who are considered fine prospects. 1 decent centre-back. Not too bothered about the C's, D's and E's, but looks like we have probably 4 really, really useful players in our youth intake, including 3 absolutely fine ones. So I think we can be excited about what will probably now be in the next video, which will be the youth intake, which happens. Actually, I probably will have 1 or 2 more before that, because it tends to be late March or even early April, doesn't it? So I will probably wait for a couple more videos for that, but I am very excited about that. You think about Roller and how he perhaps has been a little bit underwhelming this year, but maybe we could have someone a bit like that who just is a little bit more perhaps brilliant in terms of the personality, because whilst it says that his personality is balanced, I've been having a lot of disagreements with him, as I mentioned in a previous video. So hopefully we're going to come and see, in maybe 2 videos time, some absolute gems coming through. So no idea what you're about to see now, because I've no idea what I'd recorded earlier or after this in the video, but let's go back to it now. Right, okay, and here we are at the Fidelis Andria game to finish off today's video, hopefully with another win. I do feel like if we were to win today, the likelihood is that we're going to start pulling away a little bit. Taranto are playing against Monterossi today, so it should be a game that they'll win. But with every game that we win, it just means that we are that 1 game closer. We're in such good form that I really can't see us falling away much. I hope I'm proved right there. Obviously, I might be tempting fate, but that's just how I feel at the moment. I just think this is a season where we ought to be promoted at this point. If we're not, I will be disappointed. With Nesta leaving now, we do need to make sure that Francesco Rolla is ready to be the first choice right winger. He has been playing more often than not this season, but we always knew that we could fall back on Nesta if he was having a poor game. He needs to start becoming a bit more consistent. Otherwise, we're going to need to think about trying to upgrade on. We do have some youngsters coming into the team next year, so he may not be the only product of our academy playing next year. We will see. Boardin. cleared away, and Pellegrini can take it away. Can we make something happen here? Pellegrini to Celli. Celli, nice run. Finds Rolla, and Rolla scores. I think only his second goal for Zaffarana. Pretty certain that's right. And both times, obviously, at the far post. First time it was a header. The second time he's put it in with his right foot. And Francesco Rolla has his second goal for AC Zaffarana and extending our lead a little bit further towards this title. And another ball into Pellegrini. It's a very good start from Rolla. A goal and perhaps what should have been an assist just then. Vitorini. Francesco Rolla. So it's a very nice ring to it, isn't it? Rolla's off the tongue. Nepi goes through. Ex-Zaffarana, of course. I almost said ex-Arsenal. But ex-Zaffarana player. Let him go at the end of last season, Alessio Nepi. He did a good job for us, to be fair. He had a good year. 9 goals in 24 games. Not outstanding, but it was decent. It does look like we've done well, because for a striker not to have scored in 21 games is almost unheard of. I know he scored a few in the Cups, but in the league he hasn't scored in 21 games, and that is not very impressive, is it? So maybe we did the right thing by selling him when we did, after his best season for us. Sometimes that is the best time to sell them, and maybe that's a good reason why it's not too bad that we have lost Gianmarco Nesta. Well, I would, of course, have liked to get some money for him. Spagbol. And Nepi was involved. Sandri puts it away to equalise for Fidelis Andrea. Plenty of time to go, but I would be disappointed if we couldn't beat this team. It's a team we've beaten on many occasions. We have actually played them in the playoffs, I believe. Not particularly happy with the fact that we are not winning this game. We ought to be. This loan signing of Mancini is looking a little bit iffy at the moment. He's not doing much. I brought on Estrella last time, so it's going to be Castelli this time. Pellegrini. Finds Celli. Gioldi and Camara. Nice interplay. Vitorini, can he get something in? Puts the cross into Castelli, and it's headed wide. Pogliano to Celli. Celli finds Latilat. Camara shoots, and it's saved by the keeper. We're starting to look really dangerous now. Gioldi, Vandelli saves that. Latilat to Rolla. Rolla can't quite find the cross or the shot, which either of which could look possible. But Latilat shoots. It wasn't Latilat who shot. I think it was Gioldi, wasn't it? Can't quite find the back of the net that time. He has done so many times this season. Celli to Gioldi. Back wide to Celli now. Crosses in, and it's a penalty, I think. Looked like it was a foul on Rolla. And Gioldi has a chance to put us in the lead and doesn't take it, unfortunately. I think that might be 2 in a row he's missed. Generally, he has been pretty good from the spot, Gioldi. Unfortunately, the last couple, he's not been quite so reliable. Nepi to Spagbol. Nepi again. Is he going to be the destroyer today? Not so far. Can we get that second goal that our build-up play really has deserved? Perhaps not so much the end product. Pellegrini is going to make way for Estrella. Vitorini finds Latilat. Celli. Ramos shoots, but takes a deflection and goes out for a throw-in. I think it's time to bring off Rolla. We've got Nesta. And this looks like it's going to be 2 frustratingly dropped points. And whilst we are still top of the table, it's a bit of a chance missed, really. It's a shame. Because a couple of wins here really would have been almost game over for the title, you would have felt, given the way that we have been playing recently. It's still good form. You know, one defeat in 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 games. That's not to be sniffed at, but it is perhaps a little disappointing that we haven't really been able to kind of take our chances to potentially have got this title almost sewn up by now. You look at defeat to Foggia, okay, that's fair enough, although 3-0 wasn't great. But you look earlier in the season at those 3 defeats in a row, admittedly one of them in the Lega, but Vibonese and Messina, 2 teams we should have been beating. That's 6 points there, and then another 2 today potentially. We could perhaps be 8 points further through, and that would have been, if not over, it would have been pretty close to it. So I am confident. I think there is a good chance still we get promoted here, but it's perhaps not as exciting as I thought it was in terms of how much better we are than the rest of the league. And it does suggest that perhaps there's quite a bit of work to do when we go up to Serie B next season. I mean, I hope next season or whenever we do eventually go up to try and make sure that we are competing in Serie B. I'm going to be back when we have the next youth intake, because I think that seems to be working well, particularly if we have a couple of players who might be featuring in the next couple of games after that. We've had a lot of. I think I've featured the Palermo game every single time we've played them, so So I think we will give that a swerve this time because we certainly won't have the youth intake by then. It usually happens, I think, in early April. If the title race seems to be hotting up before that, I may come back. But unless something interesting happens between now and then, it may well be after the next youth intake. We will see how it goes. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It has been a bit of a ride. I think a bit disappointing against Fidelis Andrea, but 4 points in 2 games is never a bad thing, I don't think, in this league. So hopefully tomorrow we can take that next step, and if not get promoted tomorrow, then almost get promoted tomorrow. Leave a like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.